He's produced the sound of a generation, styled the fashion of the future, and built a billion-dollar empire behind the scenes. But Pharrell Williams is more than just a hitmaker. He's a creative visionary who turned minimalist beats into multi-platinum records, a cultural architect who helped shape the look and feel of the 2000s and 2010s. A man whose name may be soft-spoken, but whose work echoes across the globe. From the streets of Virginia Beach to the top floors of Louis Vuitton's Parisian headquarters. From drumline geek to fashion god, Pharrell has never stayed in one lane. He's worked with nearly every icon of our era: Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Rihanna, Daft Punk, Kendrick Lamar. Not just making hits, but shaping culture in real time. Yet behind the glasses, the smile and the beats, is a story few really know. So who really is Pharrell Williams? And how did a quiet kid from Virginia transform into one of the most influential minds of the 21st century? Let's rewind the track and find out. Tucked high in the hills of Beverly Hills, where the city lights fade into mountaintop silence, sits a home as futuristic as the man who owns it. Welcome to Pharrell Williams' $30 million ultra-modern estate, a glass and concrete masterpiece that looks more like an art installation than a traditional home. Originally designed by acclaimed architect Hagee Belsberg, this 17,000-square-foot estate was once owned by filmmaker Tyler Perry. But in 2020, Pharrell made it his sanctuary, customizing it into a space that blurs the line between nature, technology, and art. Inside, the house opens up like a crystal temple. A floating glass staircase spirals toward the rooftop garden, while retractable ceilings invite the California sun to flood every room. Nearly every wall is made of glass, not just for the views, but to dissolve the boundaries between indoor and outdoor living. With 10 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms, each space feels like a hotel suite, tailored for tranquility, with soft lighting, muted tones, and a deep connection to nature. One of Pharrell's favorite features? A Zen koi pond that winds through the lower level, merging fluid motion with stillness. Elsewhere, aquarium-style windows turn the home into a living organism where every detail feels alive and intentional. And on the rooftop, a lush private garden offering 360-degree views of Los Angeles. It's a green escape built atop steel and stone, a space for reflection and reset. At the heart of it all lies Pharrell's creative sanctuary, a studio-grade recording room with acoustic perfection. It's where ideas are born, tracks are laid, and legends are made. Next door, the media room doubles as a private screening theater, fully soundproof, perfectly lit, and built for high-definition inspiration. And of course, it's a smart home. With just a tap or voice command, Pharrell can control lighting, temperature, music, and even adjust the glass tint to match his mood. Step outside, and it's resort living at its finest. A resort-style infinity pool reflects the hills like a mirror, while the outdoor kitchen and lounge areas create the perfect vibe for entertaining or unwinding after a long day in the studio. Surrounded by tropical landscaping and panoramic mountain views, this home isn't just a place to live. It's a living experience, designed to inspire, recharge, and reflect the essence of who Pharrell Williams is. But that's just the beginning. Step into his garage, and you'll see that Pharrell's creativity doesn't stop with architecture. It drives on 4 wheels. For Pharrell Williams, creativity doesn't stop at the studio or the runway. It cruises onto the open road. Welcome to Pharrell's private garage, a curated collection of machines that are equal parts performance, sustainability, and high design. Let's start with the Rolls-Royce Phantom, the very definition of silent power. Inside, a custom-built interior tailored to Pharrell's love for minimalism and acoustics. It's not just a ride, it's a rolling sanctuary of soundless sophistication. Next up, the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, a rare fusion of German engineering and British speed, born from a one-time collaboration. This isn't just a car, it's a timestamp in automotive history. Then there's the Porsche 550 Spyder, a vintage collector's dream. Sleek, elegant, and famously linked to James Dean, this car blends danger with beauty like few others. For everyday driving, Pharrell chooses the Tesla Model X, a futuristic ride that's equal parts function and vision. It's fast, clean, and speaks to his passion for sustainability. And while rarely seen in public, it's rumored that Pharrell owns a Ferrari Enzo, one of the rarest hypercars ever built. If true, it's another symbol of his quiet but commanding status in the world of elite collectors. What sets Pharrell apart isn't just what he drives, but how he designs them. Every car in his collection features custom interiors, often stripped of traditional branding, letting the materials and mood do the talking. From matte finishes to hand-stitched vegan leather, every detail reflects Pharrell's design-first mentality. In a world where speed is king, Pharrell balances performance with purpose, always mindful of how his choices impact the planet and inspire the culture. But the garage is just one part of his empire. Because Pharrell doesn't just earn from music, he earns from everything. Pharrell Williams isn't just a chart-topping artist, he's a business empire in motion. As of 2025, his estimated net worth hovers between $250 million and $300 million, and it didn't happen by accident. Each year, Pharrell pulls in around $25 to $35 million, and not just from music. His income is as diverse as his talents, spread across industries from soundtracks to skincare, sneakers to skyscrapers. At the core of it all, music. As one half of the Neptunes, lead of NERD, and a solo artist, Pharrell's catalog includes hundreds of hits. From Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake to Britney Spears and Snoop Dogg, the royalty checks just keep coming. He scored some of the most successful family films of the past decade, from Despicable Me to Hidden Figures. And with each box office hit, the back-end royalties only grow stronger. Pharrell's partnership with Adidas Humanrace brought streetwear into high fashion. Add in G-Star Raw denim collabs, and you've got tens of millions in endorsement deals and global licensing. Launched in 2003, Billionaire Boys Club and Ice Cream became pioneers of hip-hop meets streetwear. Still operating today, these brands rake in passive income through apparel drops, collabs, and licensing deals worldwide. He doesn't just consume art, he creates it. Pharrell's collaborations with Takashi Murakami, Daniel Arsham, and others have fetched six figures and beyond at private showings and auctions. Beyond his primary residence, Pharrell has invested in premium real estate in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York, often flipping properties or renting them as ultra-luxury pads. With his Humanrace skincare line and co-ownership in the Good Time Hotel, Pharrell's investments speak to modern health, design, and sustainability. His ventures aren't just profitable, they're culturally relevant. In 2023, Pharrell stepped into the global spotlight, not as an artist, but as men's creative director at Louis Vuitton. One of the highest-paid roles in fashion, this gig added millions to his annual income and sealed his legacy as a cross-industry visionary. So while most artists earn from albums and tours, Pharrell earns from everything: music, fashion, article design, real estate, film, and now, the future. Pharrell doesn't just endorse products, he reinvents them. Across fashion, tech, and wellness, his name isn't slapped on. It's stitched into the DNA of every brand he touches. First up, Adidas Humanrace. Pharrell's flagship sneaker and apparel collaboration blends sustainability, bold colors, and futuristic textures. But Humanrace isn't just about footwear. It's also a clean, gender-neutral skincare line that challenges beauty norms with science-backed simplicity. Pharrell's journey into fashion began with Billionaire Boys Club and Ice Cream, launched with Nigo in the early 2000s. Known for bold colors, playful graphics, and rare releases, these brands became streetwear staples, worn by everyone from Kanye West to Tyler, the Creator. In 2018, Pharrell teamed up with Moncler to reimagine outerwear, not just for warmth, but as wearable sculpture. The collab was high concept and high impact, pushing boundaries in both silhouette and texture. As one of the original backers of Beats by Dre, Pharrell didn't just endorse the product, he helped amplify its cultural takeover. Before Apple acquired Beats for $3 billion, Pharrell was already part of the sonic shift that made headphones a fashion statement. From sneakers to skincare, Beats to billion-dollar fashion houses, Pharrell doesn't just attach his name to a product, he reshapes the industry around it. Pharrell Williams doesn't just live in the moment, he multiplies it online. With over 14 million Instagram followers, millions of monthly music streams, and a growing digital empire, his influence never sleeps. Pharrell's Instagram isn't just a social feed, it's a mood board. It's where brands get teased, collaborations get unveiled, and inspiration gets delivered, pixel by pixel. Each post is intentional, minimal text, maximal impact. Pharrell's catalog runs deep. With hundreds of writing, producing, and performing credits, his tracks are streamed millions of times a month across Spotify, Apple Music, and beyond. That means royalty checks, big ones, long after the beat fades. On YouTube, Pharrell pulls back the curtain, offering glimpses into his creative process, music premieres, and style evolution. His behind-the-scenes content turns casual viewers into die-hard fans. Pharrell has quietly entered the world of NFTs and the metaverse, launching collectible art projects and immersive audio experiences. These digital ventures are more than hype. They're a new kind of revenue stream. Offline, Pharrell's money works while he sleeps. He co-owns the Good Time Hotel in Miami, a boutique paradise he built with nightlife mogul David Grutman. And behind the scenes, he's invested in tech startups focused on AI, augmented reality, and sustainability, planting seeds for the next wave of cultural innovation. Unlike many artists who chase the spotlight, Pharrell lets his work and his wealth speak for itself. Every post, every product, every pixel serves a greater vision. And that vision is scalable, silent, and always evolving. This isn't just about fame, it's about freedom. And Pharrell's found a way to turn digital presence into long-term peace. Before the Grammys, before the Louis Vuitton runways, before the headlines, there were just two teenagers from Virginia Beach, locked in a studio with big ideas. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the Neptunes, Pharrell and Chad Hugo, created a sound that would dominate global airwaves. They weren't just producers, they were the architects of a whole new era in hip-hop and pop. From Britney to Busta, Jay-Z to Justin, they redefined what a hit could sound like. Dry drums, digital funk, and space to breathe. But it was 2013's Happy that launched Pharrell into another stratosphere. Written for Despicable Me 2, it became more than a soundtrack. It was a global anthem of joy, streaming across borders, languages, and generations. It earned him Oscar and Grammy nods and proved that even in an age of auto-tune, positivity still sells. But when you rise fast, the fall can be subtle. By the mid-2000s teens, Pharrell's sonic blueprint had been copied so many times, it started to feel like he was chasing himself. Critics claimed he was oversaturated. Fans wanted evolution. Even he admitted the spark was dimming. So he pivoted. Pharrell leaned into fashion, design, and activism, becoming a voice for climate action, racial equity, and wellness. He traded chart toppers for cultural capital, and the public followed. Today, Pharrell is reborn, not as just a hitmaker, but as a visionary designer of moments. Whether it's a beat, a blazer, or a building, everything he touches tells a story. He's not chasing the charts anymore. He's crafting legacy. Pharrell Williams has never been one to stay in one lane. And now, as he enters a new chapter in his creative life, he's doing what few artists ever do, telling his own story in his own language. Set for release in late 2025, Pharrell's upcoming memoir is no ordinary autobiography. It's a hybrid, part memoir, part art book, part manifesto. A visual and written exploration of creativity, race, culture, and entrepreneurship, all through Pharrell's lens. But this memoir isn't just for fans, it's for future visionaries. With design insights, interviews, and frameworks for ideation, it reads less like a diary and more like a toolkit for creatives. Before the Grammys, before the red carpets and runways, Pharrell Williams was just a curious kid in Virginia Beach, trying to find his rhythm. Born on April 5, 1973, Pharrell was raised in a modest musical home. His mother was a teacher, his father a handyman. But music, that was everywhere, in the house, in the church, and eventually in Pharrell himself. In 7th grade band class, Pharrell met Chad Hugo, a saxophone prodigy with a quiet brilliance. The two hit it off instantly, bonding over sounds, symphonies, and sampling tapes. Together, they started experimenting, not just playing instruments, but bending them into something new. At Princess Anne High School, Pharrell didn't stand out for sports or grades, but in the lunchroom and after class, he was making beats on lunch trays and layering vocals into his own DIY mixtapes. He'd briefly attend Northwestern University, but formal education wasn't his tempo. Pharrell's first steps in the music industry weren't front and center. They were behind the curtain. He ghost wrote lyrics. He programmed beats. He worked quietly while others took the credit. But in those shadows, he was learning the craft and building a sound the world had never heard before. Pharrell's genius didn't come out of nowhere. It was cultivated through family, friendship, experimentation, and the freedom to explore. And it was in these early moments that the foundation was set, not just for a career, but for a revolution in sound, style, and culture. In the early 90s, Pharrell and Chad Hugo were still just teenagers, but fate knocked early, literally. Legendary producer Teddy Riley, the architect of New Jack Swing, discovered the duo after a local talent show. He gave them their first big shot. Their sound? Minimal, melodic, and mechanical. Nothing like the era's bloated radio beats. The Neptunes quickly became the go-to hitmakers for artists who wanted something different. With Kelly's, they created an anthem of rage and empowerment. With Clips, they dropped one of the rawest beats of the decade, Grindin'. And with Jay-Z, they gave us I Just Wanna Love You, a party track that sounded like the future. While producing hits for others, Pharrell and Chad launched their own band, N.E.R.D., a genre-blending project with childhood friend Shay Haley. Part funk, part hip-hop, part alt-rock, N.E.R.D. was messy, loud, and years ahead of its time. Their debut album, In Search Of, became a cult classic. By the early 2000s, the Neptunes were everywhere. Britney Spears, Nelly, Snoop Dogg, Beyoncé. Pharrell wasn't just behind the scenes anymore, he was front and center. From club hits to stripped-down bangers, the Neptunes' sound defined the era. In 2004, the Neptunes were named Billboard's Producers of the Decade. And by the mid-2000s, Grammys started piling up. But for Pharrell, success wasn't about awards. It was about expanding the universe of what music could be. He had conquered sound. But as we'd soon find out, the story was far from over.